For the Portsmouth Daily Times Online, I'm Frank Lewis. With me today is newly elected Municipal Court Judge Steve Mowery. Steve, thanks for coming today.
Thanks for having me, Frank.
Let's talk about, now you're on the brink of going into office in January. Tell me what are your priorities as you start in as municipal court judge?
Well, the first thing that we'll do is I've got judicial training from December 14th to the 18th, so that'll be pretty important to learn the intricacies of the court, and it's sponsored by the Supreme Court, and that'll be held in Columbus. The priorities, though, once we take the bench, I'm not one of these guys that's going to come in and knock the china around. I'm going to figure out the lay of the land. We're going to see the way things operate down there. I've already been in touch with the clerk of courts. I've been through the probation department. I need to still meet with Judge Kegley because it's going to be a court to run with Judge Kegley as administrative judge this next year. And so Judge Kegley will be calling the shots for the most part. But priorities would be to make sure that we run it efficiently. We're going to be having a new secretary and a new judge, so there's going to be a learning curve. But we've got problems in the community, and so our priority is to try to make the community a better place. That's what I hope to do.
And if you've been down in that courtroom, and I know you have, there's a lot of issues involved in the actual condition of the courtroom and overall the municipal building down there. Have you thought of any solutions to that?
You know, again, that's part of the learning process. I've heard, of course, as a resident of the community, we hear frequently about the options and the reason that we are where we are, and those don't matter. As you've said in some of your articles, I don't think the reason and the rationale now is an issue, but what we have is a building that no longer works, in my opinion. There are a lot of problems, and I know I've read the articles from the local media. A lot of problems with the electric, with the heating, with the roof, with the facade of the building. There's been in the past. And oftentimes people say, oh, well, we can repair. But to me, it's simply a matter of economics, because somebody can tell us what's the cost of the total repair. And somebody can tell us how does that compare with the cost of a new building. But the problem I see with the building, to a large extent, is that there's not enough space. Honestly, if you go into the clerk of court's office, there's not enough space in the clerk of court's office for the volume of cases that come through. And so there's storage off-site, and there's not enough working area for the staff down there, for the probation department, for the court system itself. So there are problems there that I think need to be dealt with, and I think if we look at it unemotionally as an economic issue, we can reach a decision to either build a new building or repair what we have and choose the most cost-effective method. There's an answer out there, and I'd like to work with Judge Kegley toward what can we do to get that answer. And you know, the people of Scioto County, I've said this before in other interviews, we deserve more than what we have in that city building. That city building, I said this in the Meet the Candidates night, it's a disgrace. It is the face of the city of Portsmouth when people come in from out of town. It's what people see. When people in our community need to make an appearance, it's what we see. It's not a bright place, it's not a well-lit place, it's not an easy place to keep up. It's deteriorated. I know that Nick Basham told me, he had done the newly elected council member, he had done a little research on this and found that building was built with stimulus money back after the Depression, or maybe right before the Depression, I'm not certain of the time. But it wasn't built to be a long-term solution, and it's been preserved to be a long-term solution. So I think that we need to take a look economically, financially, about what we can do and what are our options, and I think we can do better than what we have. There's no question.
Thank you, Steve, for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
For the Portsmouth Daily Times Online, I'm Frank Lewis.